God knows when. I've just been trying, and I don't know, the network has just been so bad. But I mean, I've just it's over 10 minutes. I'm supposed to start this live by 8 p.m. But I mean it's 8:11, so it's 10 minutes to I was trying to actually make it the normal what's the name landscape, but it's not working. I don't know. It keeps telling me something I'm not really used to. So I just do it straight, right? Even though I would prefer that it's landscape because this is YouTube. So, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Global Abby Live. So, today we're going to be talking about something interesting, something exciting. We're going to be talking about off-plan projects. And that's because, I mean, we are in the season where there's a lot of wave for off-plan projects. There are a lot of people keying into off-plan projects. There's been a lot of people that has been scammed when they wanted to buy offline projects. And there is now a greater number of people that doesn't even know what offline projects mean. So it's crazy. I don't know if this camera positioning is okay. So it's crazy. And I feel like if a lot of people are not very informed, they will keep making the same mistake. So it's important that these things are talked about, this information is passed across so that anybody that wants to invest in a project or invest in something that will take a huge part of their money, a huge part of their finance, that would make a big mark in building their future finance, in building wealth, in building their investment portfolio, then it should be thought, it should be explained. Now, I'm a project manager, so I totally can relate to when it comes to handling projects, and I know how mentally exhausting it is, how physically exhausting it can be, but the mental stress is worse. Having to deal with artisans, my goodness. There's this project I was handling for a client, and it was a lot because the artisans, when they see a big project, they are used to being excited. So in their heads, they don't even think about the work sometimes. So they just rush into telling you that they can do it. So you see someone, a carpenter, and you ask him to do a furniture for you, and without a second thought, he tells you yes, he can fix it, he can handle it. And to your greatest shock and surprise, you now see that this guy doesn't know shit, he doesn't know what he's talking about because he would not deliver. Is either he's telling you, either he buys a bad or a wrong material, or they collect the money and spend from the money, and then probably give you when they are finished spending half of the money that they now remember that you ask them to do a project for you. So sometimes it can run the person that is trying to do the project crazy, right? So this is why most people don't like to handle building project because of how crazy and how exhausting it can be. However, this is where we come in. This is where buying off-plan project comes in, right? Buying off-plan project is exciting for those who buy from people who has track record, who knows what they are doing. It's just like giving a building project to someone that doesn't know anything about building or knows little about building. So they use from their experience to handle your project. And whatever it is that their experience has been is the result they are going to provide to you. Right. So I'll share that later. I'm trying to lay the foundation. Although I've already shared a video of what off-plan project means on my YouTube channel. I have a full video of it on my YouTube channel, but I still think I should beat on it more because it looks like a lot of people are not really understanding what's going on with the off-plan projects, with the off-plan market. They feel like it's just you buy something and then they don't even understand it. So whenever I have conversation with clients and they are talking about buying off plan, they don't say off plan, but from what they are describing, it's off plan. So whenever you tell them, oh, off plan project, you have to like dissect it. They will not say, oh yes, that's what it's called. I don't know, but I want my project done by someone else. I could just pay for a period of time, right? So that's why I want to talk about off plan project today. Now, what is off plan? In simple terms, off plan means that this project, there's a proposed plan, right? That there's a plan ahead, but this plan is on paper, it's not on ground, it's not physical, you cannot see it literally. It's not it's when you see off plan, right? When you hear about off plan, you're talking about um buildings, lands. I'm sorry, buildings, apartment, not lands, because people mistake off plan to payment plan. Don't know, they feel like I've heard one or two clients, oh, is it like off plan that I'll be paying? No, it's not, it's different, right? So when you hear off plan, you're talking about apartments, buildings, structures, like is it a fully detached apartment? Just know that it's a building when you hear off plan, right? And now what off plan means is that there is a proposed plan, a proposed building, a proposed apartment on paper. There's the design. The developer has worked with the architect, has worked with the surveyor, every single person that is going to make the plan, the plan of whatever the project come to life, they've worked together and they've come up with this structure, this plan, this project, right? It could be an apartment. Let's say an apartment. They've come up with this five or four floors of three-bedroom apartments, and they've drafted it, they've drawn it, they've already done the floor plan and everything. And now they're about to launch, and then they open this empty land and they tell you to come and buy off plan. What they're asking you to buy is not the land. What you're asked, what you're welcomed to buy is the apartment. The building is still on paper, right? It's not yet built yet. So that's what you're buying. You're buying the idea. So this is what happens whenever you want to buy an off-plan project and you say something that is already done on paper, they show you the plans. If it aligns with something that you want, let's say you want a three-bedroom apartment or a four-bedroom apartment, and you don't go through the stress of building it yourself. You rather give it to someone to build it for you, and then while it's being built, you can focus on other things, right? Now there's a payment for it. Let's say it cost about 200 million naira to get this thing done. All you need to do, if you have the outright payment, you pay the outright payment after you've confirmed the developer. I'll teach later on all of those things, what you should look out for when you want to buy an off-plan project in our next live. So I'll be coming, maybe I'll be trying to come live a lot more often so that we could talk about this now that we've gone on break and all of that. So you could use this period to learn what this thing means so that whenever you hear some of these terms, you're familiar with it, right? So I stopped at saying that. So when you look at this plan and it aligns with what you want, it's something that matches the kind of project you want to invest in. You confirm all of the document, all of those things, then you pay for it. Now, when you pay for it, you are not moving in immediately, right? Because some people say, okay, if I pay, when am I going to move in? Can I move in next 2 months? No, especially when it's a new project, right? You need to confirm. If it's a new project, you need to confirm the time frame for the project and all of that. That's going to be in another class. So in another say class, in another webinar, right? So you confirm all of those things because it's not like a moving immediately project, right? So when you see the plan, you confirm when the building is going to be ready. If it aligns with what you want, if it's something that you can do outright, you pay outright. If you cannot do outright and you look at your financial income that comes into your account every month and it aligns with something that could last for that long period of time, you can do a payment plan. If not, you can do it outright, and then you're giving updates on everything. You're giving updates on everything about the project. You're giving update on when the progress is done, every single thing, right? So that's what off plan means. The building is not yet ready. So that's literally what it means. So one thing that I've noticed about people is that they don't want to get involved with all of those processes. So it's okay if you don't want to get involved with the process of trying to get the maybe get the artisan, get the carpenter, get this. It's, as a project manager, I can tell you this for free. It's crazy. In fact, sometimes you even have to arrest them because some of these people, they've not really touched some amount of money. So when you give it to them, they're like, wow, they're overwhelmed with like, wow, I've gotten this project, let me just spend some money. So some people don't like to deal with stuff like that. So they like to venture into off plan. But the problem is they don't even know it's off plan. So it's hard to describe. They just tell you, okay, that they want to just invest in a project. So that's what off plan means. I wanted to just talk about what off plan means really. The building is still on paper, it's not ready yet. If you probably come in when the building is almost ready, it's definitely not going to be the same price you're seeing it. Now, one of the benefits of investing in off plan is that you're going to buy the product, you're going to buy it like way below the market value. Let's say a particular location, they're selling a particular location for we could say 300 million naira for a three-bedroom in a particular location. because you're buying off plan, you can literally buy that same project. You can buy that same project at maybe half the price or way below the price. This is what happens because the developer likes that you love the idea of what they are doing. You are coming in early, so you're more like an early person. So you know more. There's something about first movers advantage. First movers advantage is a term that explains that you came into the market before every other person came into the market. So you have the benefit of getting the values that they may not get in terms of money, right? So because you came in early, you're going to get it cheaper. That way, anybody that comes in later is going to buy it more expensive. So that is one of the things that off-plan offers you, like as a first mover. And as every step of the project, like let's say the project has not started and they do the foundation, that's a step away. For every milestone that the project touches, the price increases. Another thing when handling a project is whenever we handle projects for clients, right? You see, sometimes I advise clients, especially when they are doing a project that is going to last for like a very long time, a big project, and you can afford like 3 trucks of cement. I would advise you to buy it. You may not necessarily carry everything to the site, but it's going to save you cost later. And this thing happened, this kind of thing, I've seen this situation happen a lot of times that the client is like amazed at how like I was able to think of that because sometimes they feel like, okay, how about we just buy this one first so nobody will steal it, nobody's going to do this one. But you can discuss with whoever it is you're buying from, go to the company, discuss with them. But that's for project management, right? So now, because a lot of people don't have the luxury of going through all these processes, they rather go for off plan. So this time, what I was talking about, I was trying to explain why building materials might get expensive. That's project increases. So they might tell you that you start a project and probably cement is like 3,000 naira. Of course, it cannot be 3,000 naira anymore. Cement is like 3,000 naira. And before you finish the project, it's already like 10,000 naira, 11,000 naira. This is Nigeria, so inflation happens crazily, right? Now, because you entered into the market early, you ventured into the investment early, you have the benefit of buying cheaper. You buy half the price that they are going to sell the project later compared to the actual market value that project that's the whatever the project is in that location. Let's say a 4 bedroom or 3 bedroom in that location, like I said earlier, is maybe 300 million naira. You get the benefit of buying at half the price because you came in early. Now, what happens is some persons they buy this thing early. It could be for different reasons. People buy offline project for different reasons. Some people buy because they want to live there. Some people buy because they want to use it as an investment where they can get cash flow. Some people buy it because they want to resell that same project when the entire plan when the entire project is over, so that they can sell at a higher price. Let's say by the end of the project and the company is selling at 300 million naira or 350 million naira, and you need money, you can decide to sell at 250 while maybe you bought at maybe 120 or 150 million naira. So these people buy off-plan projects for different reasons. But as someone who wants to invest, you need to understand why you're buying. You need to understand what you're buying. You need to understand how it works. You need to understand that off-plan is not land. You're buying a project. It's not like you're buying a land. It is land. What they use for land is payments plan, not off plan. Off plan is, I've heard a lot of people they just been mistaking this. They just been mistaking this entire thing, right? So that's what off plan is. The project is not ready. It is still fresh in the market. So whenever you see an off plan project, there are some things you need to ask. There's some questions you're supposed to ask. So you don't jump into it because sometimes a lot of people want to actually invest. I've seen it. A lot of people want to invest, but their problem is they have that idea, that mindset of these people, they will say something and not do it. And I totally understand it. I mean, having been in the real estate industry for like almost 5 years now, I can tell you that not every developer do what they will say they will do. Most times it's not their intention, right? And I totally understand that it's not their intention, but I look at track record. If a developer doesn't have a track record of doing something over and over again, I'm sorry, I will not be able to trust you to my client's money. That is why it's important that whoever it is you're buying, if you're buying from anybody else, it's important you know that that developer has a track record. Because maybe something goes wrong. Because they have a track record, they will want to keep to their word or at least communicate. Like the period of COVID-19, a lot of people invested into off-plan projects, right? But not a lot of people got their returns, while some people did, but not at the level that they were supposed to get it, because the developer that was handling it communicated, they explained things, and they came into an agreement on what can be done to make for the progress of the project that they are doing, right? So that's why it's important that when getting into a planned project, when you get in fact, when getting into any project at all in the real estate market, it's important to understand, because investing in what you don't understand can drive you nuts. Because when the question comes on, maybe when something goes wrong and you are asked what happened, how did you know about this thing, what's the project about, and you cannot answer, you begin to see that you've even made your own, you've cost part of the problem. So due diligence is very important, very, very important. So off-plan project is not like, please, let's stop mistaking this thing. That's what I thought to share this evening. So if you have more questions on off-plan projects, if you want to know about off-plan projects, just send me a message, right? We have a lot of off-plan projects in Abuja, and it's also important to know that it is not the return on investment you get from this location that you get from another location. The return on investment is very different. Very different. You don't expect to buy something in, let's say you buy a project in Dawaki, and then you buy an offline project in Dawaki, and you buy another offline project in, let's say, don't expect the return on investment you get in Dawaki to be the same as the one you get in Wige or Guzape. No. That is why the prices are always different. So when you want to invest in offline project, check how much you have for this project. How much can you invest in this project? Because some people want to invest very little and get a lot. That is where they get scammed. They get into too good to be true investment, and at the end of the day, they are surprised why they did not make anything out of it or got little from it, or they feel like it's scam, it doesn't work, it's this, it's that. You have to do your findings. There are different locations and their prices are very different. So it's important you ask some of these questions. I always tell clients that whenever you want to invest, don't feel like you're asking too many questions. When I get on call with clients and they're like, hope I'm not asking a lot of questions, I'm like, you want to spend a lot of money in this, and it's totally fine if you ask a lot of questions. So don't allow anybody make you feel like you're asking too many questions, because when you don't ask this question, you assume, and it's the wrongest thing to do. It's the wrongest thing to do when you want to invest in anything at all. Don't assume. You need to ask questions, get clarity, and be sure that this thing you're investing in aligns with this thing you're investing in aligns with what you want. All right, so that's going to be it for tonight. And in my next live video, I'm going to be sharing what you need to do before investing in an off-plan project. These are good details that you should actually know. We are in the Christmas season. Clients are coming in for inspection. They want to buy a property. They want to get into the next investment. That's absolutely good, but don't overlook some things, right? Don't overlook some things. Don't assume that, okay, this person I trust is good, but also do your due diligence. So I'm going to be sharing more on that in our next live video. Could be tomorrow, or could be next tomorrow. All right, could be tomorrow or next tomorrow. So it's going to still be on off plan, but this time around we're going to get into more details on what you should look out for when buying an off plan project. Thank you so much for joining me in my live today. Hello everyone. Sorry I didn't want to get distracted. Thank you so much. Hey, you love my hair. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, Mr. Kayla. Thank you, Mr. Timmy. Thank you, Mr. Drew. Thank you so much for joining my live. I appreciate you greatly. And please do well to share this live video to a family friend who wants to invest in real estate in Nigeria. Real estate in Nigeria, if you don't do it well, if you don't do it right, it will drive you nuts. I can tell you this for free. I know someone who said that he can never and will never invest in real estate again. In fact, it's just that he keeps saying that it's just that he knows me, right? And he's starting to believe that it makes sense to him now. But he has sworn that he's never going to do real estate again, because guess what? A property he bought, I think it's about 3-4 years ago now. There's nothing going on there. He can't even sell. He's trying to sell. Nobody wants to buy. And that's because he didn't do due diligence. He just believed everything he heard. And I told him straight up, you believed everything. You didn't do your due diligence. You just threw money. So join me in my next live video, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. in advance. Please take some time to rest this season, because before you know that January will come and you go back to work. So enjoy a great night. My name is the Global Abby, and of course, it's my job to ensure that I give you the best informative real estate advice that will help you make the right informed decision whenever it is you want to invest in real estate. So see you next time in my next live video. If you have any question, just send me a message or call me on 090-1233-9963. Or better still, there's a link on my bio. You could just click on that link and it's going to take you directly to my WhatsApp. So just let's have a conversation if there's any confusion you have about offer projects. All right. Enjoy a great night rest. Bye.